All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Ken Wu, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm here to give you some pointers on how to get ready for the subject matter test in finance. The test is going to involve your knowledge of 5 major areas in finance, and they are goal financial management, risk-return trade-off, time value money, asset valuation, and capital budgeting. Goal financial management sounds like a fancy term, but all it's saying is basically if you work for a firm, you should take actions that will help maximize the value of the firm that you work for. For a company with public traded stocks, this simply means maximizing the price of each one of their shares. And to do so, you will need to maximize net income over a long haul. In other words, maximizing the net income available to shareholders over the lifespan of the firm. Next, we will discuss one of the most important concepts in finance, which is the risk and return trade-off. In other words, there is no free lunch when it comes to investing. If you want to earn some return, you must take some risk. Mathematically, risk is defined as the nature of the price of an asset, such as a stock or bond, to fluctuate, or in other words, the tendency of stocks and bonds to change in price. Riskier assets, such as stocks, tend to experience sharper ups and downs in their prices. The reason why you would want to invest in such assets is because they also offer juicier returns. And another important thing to remember when it comes to return and risk is that diversification can help eliminate the non-systematic risks of a portfolio without sacrificing any of returns. In other words, if you have a sufficiently broad spectrum of assets in your portfolio or the things that you own, you will be able to reduce, to a certain extent, the risk of the portfolio without losing any of its returns. Next, we come to another fundamental concept of finance, time value money. This is where you're going to have to do some very simple math. I highly encourage you to return to your Finance 3311 textbook or PowerPoint slides or notes to review the basic formulas in time value money. The basic formulas don't require anything fancier than basic arithmetic, such as adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, and taking a number to a certain power. But it's going to be the basis for the next 2 topics, which are asset valuation and capital budgeting. In essence, time value money refers to the fact that depending on when the cash flow is received or paid, it's going to have a different value because of compound interest or compounding of returns. When you take compound interest or compounding of returns into account, the present value of cash flow is going to be less than its future value. On the flip side, another way of saying the same thing is that the future value of the cash flow is going to be greater than its present value. When the cash flows are identical from one period to the next, they're known as annuities. And these are very important special cases that you will find when it comes to capital budgeting and an asset valuation. A nice thing to know is that there are shortcut formulas, to find both the present and the future values of annuities. Asset valuation is a very simple application of the concept of time value money to finding the values of an asset such as stock or bond. Finding the value of a stock or bond depends on the application of the following basic idea. For any stock or bond or any other asset, it could be real estate or futures contract or options, the value of that asset is equal to the present value of all future cash flows its owner can expect to receive as a result of owning that asset. In other words, as an example, if you are the owner of a bond, you simply need to find the present value of all the coupon interest payments and the face value of the bond, which is due at maturity, discounted at the yield to maturity. When you have found the present values of the coupon payments and the face value, add them together, and there you have the value of the bond. More specifically, for a common stock, it's going to require you to sum up the present values of all future dividends to be paid. And the discount rate used for this exercise is the cost of equity, or the required rate of return of equity. And there is yet another shortcut designed to help you find the value of a common stock, and that is known as the Gordon Growth Formula. The Gordon Growth Formula can be a real handy tool if you know the current level of dividend, the rate of dividend growth, and the cost of equity. Finally, we come to the last major topic that you will need to know for the test, and that is capital budgeting. Capital budgeting involves identifying a list of possible investments for a business. Not all of these investments are going to be worth the business's while. So your job when it comes to capital budgeting is to figure out which projects add to firm value and therefore should be accepted, and reject all others. When multiple projects can be accepted, you should accept all projects which increase firm value. While for another type of project known as mutually exclusive projects, only one alternative can be chosen. In that case, you need to find the project that increases firm value the most and accept that one and reject all others. The two most commonly used capital budgeting techniques are net present value and internal rate of return. In a nutshell, when you have found the internal rate of return either using your financial calculator or Excel, you simply need to compare the resulting internal rate of return with the cost of capital for the project or the discount rate for the project. And if the internal rate of return is higher than the project discount rate or the project cost of capital, it should be accepted. All other projects should be rejected. But one of the major downsides of using internal rate of return is that for certain projects, there are multiple internal rates of return, and it's not clear which one should be used. So the golden measure when it comes to projects is net present value. In other words, net present value will always lead you to the correct conclusion of which project you should accept. The rule for net present value is for you to find the present value of all the cash flows associated with a project, discounted as the cost of capital. Then you should add up all of these present values, and if the present value happens to be positive, the project should be accepted, and projects with negative net present value should be rejected. That is all.